Hey, you guys, what's up? It's Ali, your eccentric slow mad. Welcome to my channel, you guys. I am just popping on live. I was just kind of doing impromptu talk about everything because I was out and about yesterday and discovering more about Antalya and Turkey. But I think I want to talk about safe countries because we're starting to get to the time where people are starting to plan for the holidays. It is the end of March already, you guys. I mean, April, May, June, kids are out of school, people start traveling, and everybody wants to go to places they've always heard about, new places. A lot of people want to go to new places. And, we always hear about certain countries you should never go to, places you should always go to. And I think I want to unhinge some myths or define facts and kind of just look at what I look at. And I think what, makes sense to look at when you are trying to determine, spit it out, if a place is safe or unsafe to travel to, especially if you are, family traveling, solo traveling, women traveling, whatever the case may be. There's so many different things to think about. And so when you hear people say a place is unsafe, I always encourage with any type of information that you are given to uh, make sure that you consider number one, the source, and number two, kind of dig into why they say a place is safe or unsafe to travel to before you completely, you know, discard it and say that it's not worthy of traveling to. Okay, so before we get started, thanks you guys for tuning in to my stream, to my channel today. I am trying to see if it is, I don't know why it always has like some sort of slightly grainy, um, like it's not super clear like it is on my screen. And that just so annoying considering the data and the Wi-Fi is really strong here. So I don't know why it does that. And that's disappointing because clarity is a big thing, especially when it comes to videos and streaming and stuff like that. So I apologize to you guys in advance for the quality of the videos as of late, because the Wi-Fi is on point. Technically, at least it says it is. Check it right now, 864 megabits per second. I'm not looking at how much it's uploading, like what the upload time is, but it's, anyway, so just want to throw that out there for you guys to let you know. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But if you guys see, here we go. I'm glad I'm checking the travel stuff that you guys are always interested in knowing about. Um, and if you have topics for suggestion, give me 1 second, you guys. I'm gonna switch to my mobile hotspot. See if that's better since we just lost connection. Um, since we lost connection when there's supposed to be really good connection. So give me 1 minute for housekeeping. I just need to turn my data saver off. 1 second. Whole point of being in places with great Wi-Fi is so that you don't have to use said data. So I'm gonna turn my mobile hotspot on, see if it'll pick it up on here, which it should. Give me 1 moment. Okay, I think I'm connected. Okay, I think I'm connected. Still looks the same. Still looks the same. Okay. All right. So we're gonna roll with it. I'm gonna try to just keep up and make sure it's not I'm not losing you guys or myself or whatever in this. So anyway, if you're just jumping on, trying to be really good today and talk about and give my topic heading right at the beginning, but of course I've got little data issues. So again, um, we're going to talk about countries that are safe. Defy maybe some of the myths that you guys hear, that we've heard on a regular basis, or set some realistic possible factual information. So let's just jump right in. I think I was saying click the subscribe button, the notification bell, like button, send me a comment, let me know if you're interested in this type of information. Travel, all things travel. And let's rock and roll. Okay. So yeah, I was talking about how this is the season for travel. We're getting to the point where everybody is starting to plan and figure out where they're going next. And I'm going to give, like, this could be an ongoing multi uh, video topic. So please chime in if there are places that you want to go to. Put them in the comments, and I will, if I have been or have direct knowledge about a place, I will share my input with you guys. If we can get it down to city, to the actual city, that's even better, because to judge, and this is gonna be my kind of like the little ticker. Don't judge an entire country by one city. Okay. Unless it's just like really bad, like a place you just really ain't supposed to be in, like, somewhere where there's a war. Even if that, and that's even speculative, because it depends on where it's happening. I've been in places where there's some stuff happening, but the rest of the country is not affected. Interesting, right? It's like living in the United States. We don't completely throw the United States under the bus, because we've got quite a few unhinged cities and states within the country that many of us try to avoid, quite frankly. And so anyway, let's talk about, I'm gonna do 4, maybe 5 countries today, and then whatever y'all put in the comments, whatever countries or cities you put in the comments that I know about, I will comment on those. Okay, so let's start with China. I went to China in 2017. Let me give you a couple quick facts about China. And first of all, just getting there and the process, and I won't really go into detail about my actual stay or anything like that, but getting there, we did have to have a visa. One of the things I always rave about China is you actually apply for a long-term visa. I think it was about 150 or something like that for the one-time visa, but I paid a little extra because we did it last minute and had to have it, I was going to say speedoed, expedited. And so it ended up costing me a little over 200. So we had to do like that day FedEx and get it back in 2 days kind of thing. But it's good for 10 years. So if you're going to be frequenting, popping in and out of certain regions or countries and things like that, always check to see if there is a long-term visa option. This is one of those countries where there is no short-term visa option and long-term visa option. There is no fly in and get 30 days, because we would have just done that. We wouldn't have even applied for a visa. China is one of those places where you have to have a visa prior to going, and you have to at least have like your first address. You have to have some sort of address indicating where you're going to be staying, identified when you fill out the paperwork. Okay. And so that right out the gate, but that's pretty, I don't have my passport over here. I thought I had it. But you do get a sticker inside your passport. So you do have to have a clean page, and they'll tell you how many pages you need available in order to go there, because you get quite a few stamps. Going in and out, if you're crossing borders, don't forget Hong Kong is right there. It's a different country. Macau is also technically same currency. Well, actually, they have three different currencies, but just a few things to know about just that region there. That there's quite a bit to actually see, but you will get stamps from when entering and exiting or any of those. Okay. So China, a lot of people automatically say, no, I ain't going to China. I'm not going to China with all the things happening, and, and this and that, and, everything that we hear in the news, and it's always something. When I went to China, we went to two cities. So I won't count Macau or Hong Kong. We flew into Beijing and did a 1 day in Beijing to do the Great Wall, because, it's one of those places where you don't know. We went without knowing what the environment was going to be like. It was actually right around the time when the baller boy, I think it was one of the baller boys, got in trouble there, and we were trying to help somebody. I don't know if it was him or not. That just popped up. So I think that's the case, but there was an incident there, and then, our government had to intervene and all those kinds of things. And so it was right around that time. So I know there was a little bit of unrest, and people were a little uncertain about whether or not you should go or not. But one of my brothers, who I'm trying to live vicariously through when I grow up, was selected to go there and be a part of a larger group of entrepreneurs, innovators, and things like that. And so I asked if they needed chaperones, and I said, well, if you going, that means we going. So it's like, and then it ended up being like four of us going, right? And that's kind of how we travel. We try to, like, if one of us goes, we just pop up, like, what's up, kind of thing. So anyway, that's how I ended up going to China, so out of the blue. And I love to travel like that. Like, that has been since 2009. That has been like my way of, just explore, kind of impromptu and unplanned. But for those of you who like to say, okay, I got everything written down, I got all my ducks in a row in your journal, you've got everything kind of jotted and all of that, these videos should hopefully assist you with some of that planning. Okay. So anyway, that's how I let it catch up. So I added even my data is so I'm gonna switch back, you guys. I'm sorry. Switch back. Sorry, you guys. I don't want to use my data if it's gonna be all messy anyway. Okay, so we're back on. Sorry, you all. Okay, so anyway, that's how I ended up in China back in 2017. And we did have to apply for the visas and all that. And like I said, there was a little bit of unrest just in general. And so in media over the years, especially, after 2016 to 2018, 2016 to 2020, which is right in the window that we went, we obviously had some different leadership and political strains here in the States that bled over into the rest of the world. And so it was a time to be a little bit more vigilant and thinking about where you were going. But I'm gonna name a few things, just kind of maybe set the stage of like how we think about, or how I think about um, safety. And so there's multiple things that I think as a whole, if you're looking at what really creates an unsafe environment. A lot of times, something can be listed as completely unsafe. People say it's unsafe because maybe there's pickpocketers or your phone can be stolen. Um, and those things can impact your travels and trips and things like that. But I look at some of the bigger things, because a lot of times then we ignore bigger things. We ignore political unrest, which to me is a big thing. Border dispute issues. That's a big thing. That's happening in the States, right? We have political unrest in the States right now. We got insurrections and stuff. We got people literally threatening, um, saying that if things don't happen the way they want, there should be people unalived. I mean, we literally have people saying these things because we feel that we're a free speech country, which does not um, eliminate being held responsible for what you say. But these are the things that we experience in the States. And I'm not necessarily going to talk about the States, but I'm going to reference the United States as a comparison when we're talking about other countries and kind of pointing the finger at, unsafety and looking at guidelines and how we should evaluate things. Just keep in mind the great country that we live in that allows us so much freedom and access. I think just access mainly to money if you can get it. That's what I think what makes it one of the greatest is the ease of making money, whether it's legal or not. uh, but I want to do some comparisons there just to show, as close to apple to apple what we're really looking at, right? And so I look at political unrest, border disputes, and then crime. So when we talk about crime, I'm not necessarily looking at petty crimes and things like that, because there are certain things as travelers, whether you're a short term tourist traveler or you become an expat, all the way down. So tourist to traveler to nomad to slow mad to, expat slash immigrant. Um, those different levels and how you should behave anyway when you're traveling in different places, uh, um, especially if you are broadcasting that you are a traveler or you clearly are not a local. Let's just put it like that. In a lot of places that I go to, I do not look like a local. Pretty much anywhere I go, I don't look like a local. I have passed and kind of blended in a couple places lately as like Cabo, and actually in some Asian countries. I think it's so interestingly enough. So, but there's things I think that we just need to be doing as travelers as a whole. But so when we talk about crime, I'm not necessarily looking at petty crime. I'm looking at things like sex trafficking. And the United States is like technically number one in terms of one or two in terms of money spent or you know sex traffic cases, things like that in the world. And so to put that in perspective, so we can point our finger at so many other places, but we are a big I mean, it's been proven. I'm not creating any of this information, but we know that we're heavy in the business of trafficking. It's 7 billion, 50 billion. I don't know. It's in the billions. I lose track in the billions. Like I lose track in the millions. Dollar industry worldwide. So it's not going to go away. But those are the things that I look at. I look at that type of stuff, especially if you're traveling with young kids, you've got teenagers, things like that. You know, to me, that's more important than getting your cell phone stolen. And then maybe I'll do a separate video on safety with cell phones, like how you should handle your cell phone. We in the States, we do everything with this little device right here. Like, okay, there's me. We do everything. See if I'm gonna wave. We do everything with these devices. We put everything on and we make it so accessible. And sometimes that is not the smartest thing to do. You make yourself very susceptible to um, petty crimes and things like that, easy crimes. Crimes of availability and being targeted and things. And so, how do we avoid those types of things? There's steps that we can take. So maybe we'll do a separate video for that. Hey, Elle, how are you? Good morning. Happy Monday to you. We're talking about safety. We're talking about countries that you can go to, or countries that people think are unsafe, and whether or not it's myth or fact. And should you put these on your list for the summertime? And so we start off with China. And, so when I look at politics, policies, border disputes, and just overall like bigger crime incidents and that type of thing. I look at those things before I look at emotional preference and feeling about people for the most part. Yeah, that comes secondary because it's something that you definitely do need to consider, especially if you're going to be kind of mingling with different people and things like that. It's very important to know whether or not you are considered, you know, in a space where you have to worry about not blending in, not fitting in, or being a target of for some reason. So, okay, so let's talk. See if I can't keep my camera on my laptop from dimming. It just does it. There is no timeouts. There's no nothing. It just dims in and out for some odd reason. So let's see if we can circumvent that. So anyway, so China for me, we went and there were things about China. I guess I can't because it's dimming again on its own. There are things about China that that can make it somewhat scary. But it's not the only place I've been to. A lot of people talk about Jamaica in this regard when you talk about, seeing soldiers and people around with semi-automatic weapons. And that's something that you will see, or that we saw I saw specifically when I was in China at the banks. And it's something that you'll see that I've also seen in Jamaica. I've also seen it in okay, you guys, I am honestly considering jumping off here and just going on my cell phone because the timing out is rather annoying. And it makes for crappy playback. So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to end the stream and I'm going to jump back on. Sorry, you guys. But it's distracting and the fading in and out. I don't know what's happening. There's something going on with my laptop. I need to update or something like that. But I would like to be able to do this without constantly having to pause and sign in and sign out. So stay tuned, you guys. Just stay here. I'm going to just jump back on and I'm just going to use my cell phone. All right, I'll see you guys in a few minutes.